Breaking news. According to the information you can see on my screen, Cameroonians give their president Paul Biya 48 hours to vacate office.
Something is going on currently in Cameroon as I speak. Happy Unitary State Day to every Cameroonian watching me right now, but something is going on.
If you ask the president of Cameroon where he would want to celebrate his birthday, he'll possibly tell you Paris, and he does.
Viva Africa, viva, viva. So guys, in today's video, we are going to talk about the African puppet leaders. I mean, you know, it's in today's video that I've noticed where our problem is as Africans, you know. And guys, you know what? In October, Cameroon will be voting. I mean, they are actually having a presidential election. And of course, it's Paul Biya, 92-year-old president. Okay, is termed as, you know, France puppet. I don't know. That is now allegedly, you know. And this 36-year-old Song Michael. So guys, before I talk so much, I want us to listen to these videos first so that you may have a clue of what we're gonna talk about in today's video, and then I'll come back with detailed not really information, detailed analysis, you know. So let's listen to these videos first and then we come back.
Platform, it shouldn't be.
Pourquoi je suis en vedette? C'est qui tous ces gens qui sont là? Pourquoi je n'ai pas demandé ça? Est-ce qu'il y a des gens importants là?
Les ministres qui sont là. Le président Kagame a parlé, il est parti, introduit.
Non.
Le monsieur vous a introduit. Il y avait un monsieur debout qui vous a introduit.
Je dois parler maintenant.
Vous pouvez rester assis, parler assis. Vous pouvez parler assis, étant assis.
Ici?
Oui.
Pourquoi?
I mean, it's so sad. The man just sat there, he farted. He kept looking at the pamphlet in his hand for minutes. That is supposed to be his speech. Then he farted again in public. He put down his pamphlet. His aide came back to prompt him to speak.
Vous pouvez parler assis, étant assis.
Ici?
Oui.
Pourquoi? C'est moi. Il y a personne.
If you ask the president of Cameroon where he would want to celebrate his birthday, he'll possibly tell you Paris, and he does. If you ask somebody from Angola, they would possibly tell you Lisbon. If you ask somebody from Nigeria, or holding all factors constant, where they would want to be London. If you ask somebody from La Côte d'Ivoire, Paris, Democratic Republic of Congo, Bruxelles, we are mentally captured. We are mentally captured, and until the day we decolonize our minds, we will do all the things that we want to do, but we will never realize our potential.
First of all, I know African countries have problems, but you see Cameroon, their problem is spiritual. Wallahi, it goes beyond physical comprehension. Because that country, Cameroon, they love old people ruling them. Their president is Rock of Ages, Father Abraham and Methuselah of our time. So this is their president, Paul Biya. He is 91 years. The man in the middle, he is one of their ministers. Now guess what? This man, Nayat Marcel, is the president of Senate in Cameroon. So all the Senates know this is their president, a 91 years old man, and they re-elected him. So he first became the president of Senate in 2013, and they re-elected him in 2025. A 91 years old man, and their president Paul Biya wants to be re-elected as the president of Cameroon. Rock, why do these Pepper people, why do they love old people like that? No, because this is beyond physical comprehension. Look at them, they cannot even stand on their feet. and you are re-electing these people. Now Cameroon people, what's your problem? Oh no. Cameroon problem is not this.
For those of you who don't know the president of Gabon, this is the president of Gabon. See him, look at him. Look at him. This is Ali Bongo. He's struggling to walk. And this is the guy who has refused to leave power. And you guys are condemning the military for taking over. Look at him. Look at him. His father ruled Gabon for 42 years. And this guy has been in office for 14 years. And this guy still wants to run for more terms. Look at him. Just look at him. I think most of you have not even seen him. Look at him. This guy will be dying very soon. And this guy has refused to leave power. Look at him. This guy has refused to leave power. What do you expect the people of Gabon to do? And the most annoying thing is this guy is supported by France. France is protecting this guy. So is this democracy? They want this guy to continue to rule because this guy is a puppet. This guy lives in France. His family is in France. His properties are in France. And he's ruling Gabon. They are ruling Gabon like a monarchy system. This is Ali Bongo.
We may be hungry, but we can manage our hunger.
Please listen. This will shock you right now. Something is going on in Cameroon. An abomination is happening over there. Just pay attention and listen to this. Could you believe that vibrant youths in Cameroon are contributing money, more than 5 million CFA francs, so that Paul Biya, the 93 years old president that have ruled Cameroon for more than 40 years, still ruling right now, so that Paul Biya, when they peace for body, when they shit for body, Paul Biya no they think well, no they talk well, no they feel worker, so that Paul Biya will contest for next Cameroon presidential election this year. Could you believe that? Vibrant youths in Cameroon are doing this. Could you believe that? Now, take a look at the Cameroon we are talking about that Paul Biya ruled for more than 40 years. Take a look at Cameroon.
Paul Biya. Oh yeah. Paul Biya. Oh yeah. Paul Biya. Paul Biya. Paul Biya. Vive l'amitié entre la République populaire de Guinée et le Cameroun. Vive son Excellence Paul Biya.
Before the Southwest people and in front of cameras, they count. The amount is 5 million francs CFA. The Southwest youth contributions, part of a 30 million legal deposit to support President Paul Biya's candidacy for the 2025 presidential election.
We are peace lovers, and today we make our choice known. We stand with President Paul Biya. We stand with President Paul Biya. We therefore actually support his candidacy and pledge to give a massive vote.
Now, can you see what I'm saying? Vibrant youths in Cameroon are doing this. When I say that new colonialism is still going on here in Africa, you won't believe. France, Emmanuel Macron is the one ruling Cameroon from France. Paul Biya is not a dictator. For ruling for more than 40 years, still want to rule. So Paul Biya will be 100 years still ruling Cameroon. This is not a laughing matter, but sometimes I feel like laughing. I can't hold it. Vibrant youth. France still ruling Cameroon. They said they gave Cameroon independence, right? but they are still influencing Cameroon. They are still ruling Cameroon. And the youth are supporting them to the extent of donating money so that Paul Biya will still be the president of Cameroon. Paul Biya will be 100.
Breaking news. According to the information you can see on my screen, Cameroonians give their president Paul Biya 48 hours to vacate office. So according to the information reaching me, the Cameroonian citizens are protesting, on every street that is in Cameroon right now. And according to them, they want the president to leave office because the rate at which the citizens are suffering is becoming too much. Now, some of you don't know Paul Biya. Paul Biya is a Cameroonian president and he has been in power for 42 good years. Yes, that means Paul Biya, when Paul Biya enters seat, they never even born me. In fact, they never need to born. Maybe they never even married my mother in the first place. But you can see now that this man has been in power for 42 good years and there's nothing good to write home about in Cameroon. Just take a good look at how the whole citizens are flooding the streets to protest for his removal. Believe me, many African leaders always want to die in power, and it's like this is the only language they understand, protest. And that's why we keep telling people that if we have, a unanimous mind as youth in Nigeria, all these politicians already do us anyhow, because we just have barely over 200 wicked politicians suffering and enslaving over 2 million youths. So we must come together, just like other countries are doing. We must come together in this way. That is the only language they understand. If not, corruption within the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative organ of government will not end. Just look at Cameroon right now. Everybody are on the streets. Everybody in Cameroon. Everybody flooded the streets. And then I don't think Paul Biya is going to survive it because the pressure is too much. Maybe this might be the end of Paul Biya. What do you think about the protests? What do you think about other African countries? Do you think the whole citizens should start doing this so that our leaders will understand that we are not just under them to be suffering? We voted them into power, but at the long run, everybody will begin to suffer. The electorate are the ones that vote these people. But when they enter into the power, you discover that they will change their mind and they will want the citizens to be suffering. They will impoverish the citizens for nothing. This is what the black leaders are known for. So share this video. If you are living in Cameroon, the truth is, kudos to Cameroonians. And I just believe that other African youth are watching this, and this is going to make them to understand that this is the only language that African president understands. Share this video and follow for more. Normally, truth is bitter. Let's go.
Something is going on currently in Cameroon as I speak. Happy Unitary State Day to every Cameroonian watching me right now. But something is going on. Mr. Assong Michael Kumba has made a strong statement. Now, who is he? He happens to be a presidential candidate for the 2025 presidential election in Cameroon. And he is 36 years old of age. He happens to be a doctor and a lawyer. Now, he makes a statement. He makes a very bold statement during the National Unitary State Day, and this is what he wrote in full. This will be the last celebration of the National Day by His Excellency Paul Biya. October, we shall be sending him to his late retirement. Bear in mind that His Excellency President Paul Biya happens to be the current president of Cameroon and has been the president for the past 42 years and 6 months. President Paul Biya is 92 years of age right now, and this presidential candidate, Mr. Assong Michael Kumba, says this is definitely going to be his last celebration because by October, he is certain that he is going to win. Things are getting intense on the media. Anyways, I like his positive-minded spirit. What do you all think about this, guys? What do you think about the statement from the presidential candidate, Mr. Assong Michael Kumba?
So I don't know how many of you know the number of countries that are in the continent of Africa. So of course, for that person who didn't know, we have 54 countries, and what is happening at the moment is revolution. We are having a different generation of leaders, a strong, an energetic generation of leaders, if I may say. And what is happening when you talk about the generation, or these are leaders with different ideas, with the different leadership skills, and of course we still have these leaders that have been in power since time immemorial. I mean, I don't know, somebody was asking like, what is really happening in Africa that presidents don't want to retire at all? Like, people don't want to retire. Look at Uganda, guys, since 1980 something, 82 there. Look at Gabon. I mean, this guy Ali Bongo, he has actually ruled for like 40 years already, and the father ruled for like 42 years already, and he still wants the power. Look at Cameroon. This guy has been in power also since the 1980s. He is 92 years old at the moment as we speak. He lives in Switzerland. He doesn't even live in Cameroon. Isn't that a puppet? But again, at the moment we have riots, I will call riots, yeah, in Cameroon, and people have given Paul Biya 48 hours to get out of office. You can imagine, I don't know if you remember this particular African Leadership Summit in America where leaders were invited and this guy was given a chance to speak, like invited by Paul Kagame, and he didn't even have an idea where he was. He did not have an idea of what he was supposed to do. And imagine, he was just clueless. I think he had even forgotten that he was the president of Cameroon. And the saddest part is that he has been president for so long, and Cameroon is one of the poorest countries in Africa. But again, we are happy because we are having a new revolution of leaders. We are having a new generation, and slowly by slowly, Africa is getting rid of these puppet leaders. I would call them puppet, honestly, because somebody like Paul Biya, it's believed that he was just there to do, he was there being controlled like a remote by the France or French government. Okay, what has been happening in Cameroon in short? You know, we have this conflict between the British and, you know, the English speaking Cameroonians, and this other one, the Anglophones and the Francophones, and this has actually brought in a lot of confusion, a lot of, you know, instability. You know, people have been displaced, over 500,000, and of course, if you sit down at the moment and you try to figure out, then we are like, it's actually a high chance that this was brought by the colonial masters, the confusion in between, so that they can be able to control Cameroon. I am 100% sure, like, Cameroon has a raw material that has interest with these colonial masters. So the conflict between the Francophone and the Anglophone has actually placed back the Cameroonians and Cameroon as a country, the economy in general, which of course, you know, we are not happy as Africans, as actually we are being inspired by Ibrahim Traore. You know, we are being inspired by also the president of Namibia, you know, Nandi Ndaitwah. We have the EFF leader, Julius Malema. These are the people that are opening our mind, they are making us feel awakened, and may God bless them. You can imagine, hey, Cameroonians, we are happy that at least also, you know, the Kenyan Gen Zs are giving you the courage. You know, Kenyan Gen Zs, they really know how to fight for their space, you know. And at the moment, some few hours ago, I was watching videos here and there of the people of Cameroon, you know, rioting in the streets, not in a bad way, but in a way that they want change. They're actually yearning for change. Imagine you are born, you know, the president is Paul Biya. You go to school, Paul Biya. You get married, Paul Biya. And of course, it will reach at a point where your children are like, who will be the next Paul Biya? I mean, you get that? Because they know that there is any other president, there will never be any other president, which shouldn't be the case. We deserve to be, you know, democratic. You know, democracy is one of the best things. You choose a leader that you actually feel like they will, or he will take you, or she will take you to another better level of life, you know. I don't know if the people of Cameroon are happy with the type of leaders that they have, because, you know, recently I watched a clip of, you know, the president of the senators in Cameroon. Guess how many years? 90. I mean, the youths of Cameroon are like over 60 and above. Oh my God, you know. Anyway, I am so happy. Honestly, when you see me laughing, I am so happy that the Cameroonians are awake, and very soon Uganda will be awake, Rwanda will be awake, Nigeria. Oh my God, you know, I can never forget this phrase that their president said, that we may be angry, but we can manage our hunger. How now? As a leader, how do you say that? Like, we may be hungry, but we can manage our hunger. That's one of the worst things that a leader can say, you know, because the work of a leader is to provide solution, because you have all the power within your surrounding. I mean, you control everything. Actually, if any African leader wanted to bring change to its country, to its people, it's just upon them to decide, just like what Ibrahim Traore did. You know, what is actually developing Burkina Faso at the moment, it's the taxes of the government of Burkina Faso, supported by, you know, the Burkinabes abroad. You know, this guy paid all the debt that the country ever had. They are actually debt free at the moment. He's supporting his own people when it comes to school uniforms. Like, they are only wearing fabrics that are made in Burkina Faso, which is a great thing, honestly speaking. So Patrick Lumumba talked to us and told us about mentality capture. You know, like, as Africans, you know, as Africans, we are mentally captured, because, you know, when you ask an African, where would you want to visit? I mean, most of us will say, I want to go to America, I want to go to England, I want to go to not really like South Africa, but South America. I mean, you'll not hear anybody saying that I would want to visit Uganda, Tanzania, I would want to visit, I mean, these towns around us here in Africa, whichever country you come from. I mean, you love something that is outside so much than you love what is within you, or than you love others so much than you love yourself, which is very wrong. And that is what PLO Lumumba talked about, you know, mentality capture. And I think, you know, these people, they did us so bad, because when they came here to colonize us, they made us believe that, you know, what they had was the best and what we had was worst, to the point of, you know, we ended up hating our own color, you can imagine. And I mean, it's just crazy, something that we feel so bad about. But of course, we are happy again at the moment that we are trying to realize and know that, you know, we are equal, especially in the eyes of the Lord. We are equal. There is nothing different between white and black, you know. And the most important thing, we need to decolonize our minds. You see what's happening in Burkina Faso? That is something, that is decolonization happening. And I can tell you, Burkina Faso will be the first African nation to fully decolonize from the colonial masters. So we are waiting for Uganda. You know, all these leaders that you've mentioned already, they actually took power like so many years ago, and they're still leaders up to this point, and they don't even have any plans of going, I mean, retiring. They don't have any plans. They still want to vie for this presidency position here and there. So let's see what countries like Cameroon have for us. Let's see, actually. And I can tell you, the problem that Africa has is their leaders. I hope you understood from what I just said, all this. It was just like a small history of our leaders here in Africa, especially the presidents, you know. And Cameroon president, oh my God, why doesn't he just retire willingly? Why does he want to be forced out of power? And yet he doesn't have the energy, he doesn't have the capability. Do you remember this summit that he was going, and he was not aware where he was, what he was doing there. He didn't even know like what was happening. He didn't even realize that the mic was on and he was talking all these things. Anyway, thank you so much if you watched the video up to this point. I love you to the moon and back. Yeah, proud African girl.